Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
Hi, I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native. Go to effortlessenglish.com, effortlessenglish.com, enter your email for my free audiobook. The whole thing, free audiobook at effortlessenglish.com. Just enter your email. Today's show is live. I'm doing 40 shows in 40 days. Today is show number 2. The topic today is a book. I'm going to read a small section from a book. I've got it here on my computer. I'm going to read this section. The name of the book is The End of School. I like the title. The End of School. The writer, Zachary Slayback. Zachary Slayback, The End of School. I'm going to read a small section from the book. I'll discuss the meaning of this section, teach you some vocabulary. Then we'll discuss the ideas. Here we go. Schools reward conformity in thought and problem solving. They reward conformity in tastes and desires. The kid who wants to go off and do something entirely different than his peers is shunned, or at least finds it difficult to make friends. The young adult who solves problems differently than the textbook is slowed down and made to feel inferior. Having a definite focus is discouraged, especially if it does not relate directly to exams. Instead, focus on getting good grades and getting out of school to succeed. Success as a young entrepreneur requires an element of de-schooling, unlearning the bad habits built up during school. In fact, many affluent entrepreneurs were not high-achieving students in school. That's a strong section. Now, I'm going to teach you a little bit of the vocabulary. I'm going to go through this section again. I'll discuss some of the words that might be difficult, and I'll give you the general meaning of this section in kind of simpler English, okay? Here we go. Schools reward conformity in thought and problem solving. Conformity means to follow everyone else, right? Conformity means you just blindly follow everyone else. You want to be accepted. You're afraid other people will reject you. You're afraid to be different. That's conformity. So he says schools reward conformity, right? They teach conformity. In thinking, conformity in thinking, and also how you solve problems. They teach everybody to be the same, is what that means. The kid who wants to go off and do something different than his peers is shunned. Okay, a kid wants to go off, means wants to go and do something different than his peers. Your peers are basically your friends. Your peers are the people in your same group. It might be your same age. In this case, it's the same age. It's the classmates. So he's saying that in school, usually kids who are very different, right, who want to do their things differently, a lot of times it's hard for them to make friends. All the other students are used to conformity, thinking the same, being the same. And so the students get the same mentality, right? Everyone needs to be the same. And that's why there's so much bullying in schools, right? Any kid who's different gets bullied, or at least ignored and has trouble making friends. If you're super smart, you probably get bullied. If you're very creative, you might get bullied. If you look different physically, you might get bullied. Anyone who's different gets bullied or possibly ignored. They're not popular. That's what he's saying, and it's true. Also, the young adult who solves problems differently than the textbook is slowed down, made to feel inferior. Inferior means made to feel stupid, made to feel lower. So this is also true. I remember this from math class in high school, that, for math problems, there are many ways to solve most problems. You can do it many ways. But the teachers have this idea there's one right way. They teach you one right way. So students who solve problems in a different way, they get punished. They get made to feel inferior, like something's wrong with them, even if they still eventually get the correct idea, the correct answer. Another problem with schools, he says, having a definite focus is discouraged. So discourage, the opposite of encourage. It means the schools kind of are very negative about kids who have a strong focus. Right? Like if you have a strong focus, I will be a teacher, or I will be a scientist, I will be a doctor, I will be a writer, I will be a business person, I'm going to start my own business. Schools, they don't encourage that. In fact, they discourage it. Instead, he says, they want you to focus on exams and grades. They want you to wait until you leave school after college to succeed. Don't succeed now. Don't succeed when you're 15. Don't succeed when you're 17. Don't succeed when you're 20. You have to wait until you get out of school. And then the final section is about specifically entrepreneurs, young people who want to start their own business. He says this: success as a young entrepreneur requires de-schooling. We could also say unschooling. It means you have to actually unlearn the things they taught you in school. Right? School does not help you become an entrepreneur. It actually hurts you, is what he's saying. And he says, in fact, many successful, many affluent entrepreneurs, affluent means rich, basically, having a lot of money, wealthy. You can say affluent or affluent. I've heard both pronunciations. So, wealthy. Many wealthy entrepreneurs, successful, rich entrepreneurs, were not high-achieving students in school. In fact, there's so many examples of entrepreneurs who became very, very, very successful, very, very rich, but they were terrible students in school. And in fact, I would say it's almost normal. I'm an exception, actually. I had very good grades in school, but that did not help me become an entrepreneur. It hurt me. Like he's saying, I had to unlearn so many habits, bad habits and bad ideas and bad beliefs from school. I had to unlearn it, get rid of it, before I could become an entrepreneur, before I could successfully create my own business. So in that way, bad students often have an advantage when they become entrepreneurs, when they start their own businesses. They tend to be more creative. They're less conformist. They don't care so much what other people think. So, hey, if you're a bad student, if you were a bad student, or if you have children who are bad students, don't panic, okay? Encourage them to be different. Okay? You might have a future Steve Jobs in your house. So Steve Jobs didn't get great grades. I think he dropped out of school, didn't even finish. So many. So, don't panic. Grades, there are some professions, some careers that do require a lot of schooling. A medical doctor, for example. We all know this. They have to go to college, definitely. They have to go to medical school. It's required. So if you or your child really strongly wants to be a medical doctor, then you're going to need to go to school, sure. But other professions, especially business, and especially starting your own business, being an entrepreneur. You don't need school for that. In fact, school really is a bad deal for entrepreneurs. If you want to start your own business, if you know someone who does, if you have a child who seems interested in starting a business, tell them, just do it. Or you, just do it now. Don't go to school. You just leave school and start your business. You need business experience. You need to take a risk, take a chance, just do it. School will hurt you. School will waste your time. School will waste your money. And school will put a lot of bad ideas in your head. It will teach you to be passive, teach you to be fearful, teach you to be a conformist, teach you to try to please the teacher all the time. All of that is terrible for being an entrepreneur. You have to unlearn all of that. So you're wasting precious time. Instead of school, start now. The truth is, there are a lot of smart, motivated 15-year-old kids, teenagers, that could successfully start a business at that age. There's no reason they can't. It's so easy now with the internet to do it. You can do it cheaply. Well, I shouldn't say easy. It's not easy. But you can do it cheaply. You can do it very, very cheaply. It takes a lot of hard work. But you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't need investors. You don't need much money. Lots of opportunities. And then there are opportunities for local businesses too. So anyone interested, people ask me, this is why I'm talking about this topic, because I'm an entrepreneur and a business person. I started my own business just by myself with basically no money. So people ask advice all the time, and I tell them, just do it. Just start a business. Start. Do it, do it, do it. Don't think so much about it. Don't wait, and please don't go to school. Leave school, start your business now. That's my best advice. Now for older people, you're out of school already, then fine, just start your business. Even easier. Now if you need a job to pay your bills, pay the rent, I understand you might need to do two things for a while. You might have to work your job and also work on your business at the same time. That's difficult. I did it for 6 months. I worked a part-time job the first 6 months while I was starting Effortless English. Then after 6 months, I quit my job and full-time Effortless English. So that's necessary sometimes. I understand that. That's okay. The key point is just do it. Start. What Zachary Slayback is talking about in his book is just the fact that, schools now, they don't prepare us for success in the real world. They don't prepare us for business success. They don't prepare us for job success. They don't prepare us for personal success. Schools don't prepare us to be happy. Schools never teach us about money. Money is so important in our world now, in our economies, in our jobs, everything, right? You can hate money, you can love money, but either way, we all know money is important, right? You need it in our society now. You need money. So why? They never teach us anything useful about money in school. They don't teach you how to be independent financially. I had to learn that myself by reading lots of books. I certainly never learned it in school, and you will not either. Even if you go to Harvard Business School and get an MBA, Master's in Business, you still will not learn how to be financially free. That's sad. That's sad. And you will waste a lot of money doing that. So there are better ways to do it. Independent learning is what we're coming back to. And that's what Zachary Slayback's book is about in general. What he's saying basically in his book overall. So again, the name of the book, The End of School. The End of School. He's saying that our schools don't work anymore. The school systems we have in the world were created kind of in the industrial age, right? The factories, when all the factories were coming up, the factory age. Everything was being manufactured by people in factories, often by hand. And so the schools were designed to create good industrial workers, office workers and factory workers. That's what they wanted. Right? So people that would not think so much, people who were not so creative, they had basic skills, but that's about it. But most of all, they were obedient and passive. They would kind of do what the boss says, come to work on time, follow this strict schedule, just like they have in school. Do the task they're given, just like the teacher gives a task in school. So it's an industrial system of education. But we are not in an industrial age anymore, right? Technology has changed, society has changed, economies have changed, and we're in a more of an information high-tech society now. So industrial schools do not prepare us for that high-tech world. We need to go back to an individual or family power system. This means more of an independent system. Homeschooling is what it's called, really. Or independent learning. Because we need to do this as adults, too. Homeschooling, when people talk about homeschooling, they're usually talking about children. They mean someone is at home teaching the children. Usually it's a parent. So mom or dad is teaching the kids at home. They're not sending them to a school. They keep them at home and they teach them directly themselves. It's fantastic. Homeschooled kids are much more successful on average. In every part of life, they are much more successful. Their skills are more advanced. They learn faster. Everything's better with homeschooling. It makes sense. Imagine, you've got, let's say, 2 children and 1 adult. That's 1 teacher and only 2 students. In a school, 1 teacher, 30 students or more. So just that fact shows you why homeschooling's better. More attention. Those 2 kids are getting the attention of 1 adult, just 2 children. Or if you have only 1 kid, then that kid gets all of your attention. So no time is wasted. Those kids are learning a lot. There are many other great things to do, great ways to do homeschooling. Lots of systems. There's something called unschooling, which I like a lot. I'm not going to talk about the details of that now. But overall, this idea of families teaching their own kids is the most powerful way to teach, and it's the best education system for the modern world now, the way the world now is, the way economies are now. We need people who can think, who can be creative, innovative. We need people who are proactive, who will go out and find information and learn for themselves. We need people who will not sit and wait to be told what to do, but will look at problems, find them, and solve them. We need more and more and more entrepreneurs. Manufacturing jobs are disappearing slowly but surely. Robots are replacing them. Service jobs, don't pay very well usually. So you really want to have a good future and make money and have a good financial life. Being an entrepreneur is one of the best ways. It's not the only way, but it's a very good way. So very, 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 very important. Let's go down and I'll check some of the comments, see if I can answer a few questions. Then I'll come back to this topic for a minute and then we're done. It's always a pleasure to watch and listen to you, says Rakesh Mishra. Well, thank you. I'll do the like on your comment. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I enjoy doing this. Yesterday I tried to do the show live, but I don't know, something wrong with the Facebook app and it crashed, wasn't working. So I'm glad today I can do a live one because then I can read your comments and answer questions. So that's good. Okay, I love this topic. Good, me too. I'm very passionate about this topic. The second part of that, what I was about to talk about, I talked about homeschooling, but also independent learning. That's an important phrase, independent learning, because learning, education, it's not just for children. That's another thing about our modern world. We can't stop. We can never stop learning. This idea that you go to school until you're 22 and then it's done, education's finished, that doesn't work anymore. Technology's changing too fast. The world's changing too fast. If you stop learning, you fall behind. You need to be always learning, constantly learning for all your life. If you're 50 years old, doesn't matter, still learning. 60, still learning. 70, 80, 90, you're still learning. Right? You're still learning new things. Just because you're 80, that doesn't mean you stop learning, no. An 80-year-old can still learn another language. An 80-year-old can still learn how to program a computer if they want, if they're interested. Can learn how to use all this technology. You know, we have this idea, oh, old people, they don't know how to use technology. But that's just a mindset. That's just a belief. It's just an idea. Just because they're not thinking of lifelong learning. But there's an actor, famous actor celebrity in America named William Shatner. He's 80, I don't know, he's over 80. He's one of the biggest guys on Twitter. He's always on social media all the time. He completely understands all that stuff and is using it a lot. So age doesn't matter. We have to keep learning all the time. Independent learning. Independent learning meaning for our whole life, we are learning ourselves. And again, in this world now, we can't sit in a class waiting to be told. We have to figure out, right? We have to decide, what do I need to learn? What's important? What do I need to learn? Then, after you decide, then you have to go out and find a way to learn it. Find coaches, find teachers, find books. Try new experiences and learn it independently, just as you have and just as you are now with English. You have to do the same process, the same thing with any topic, anything you want to learn. All right, so speaking of, please tell me some films I can see to improve my listening and speaking, and some easy books to read. Okay, so these are great, especially for more advanced students, more advanced English learners. Movies are a great tool for learning if you use them correctly. What are some of my favorites? I like the movie Hitch with Will Smith. I like the movie About a Boy. Along Came Polly. Give you 3. Jerry Maguire. There's 4. Jerry Maguire. These are all kind of romantic comedies, I think most of them. Good, modern, normal English. Those are all good movies. Okay. Let's take a look and see what else we got here. Please tell us more about your experience in teaching students. I'll do it in a future show. I have so many kind of funny stories, actually, of teaching. Funny and sad, and I don't know. So, yeah, I'll do it more because I have to do 40 shows in 40 days, right? This is only show number 2. So we have 38 more days and 38 more shows coming. So I have to save some of my stories for future shows, or I'll have nothing to talk about. Hashim Hussain says, from Iraq, I love your method of teaching. You are the best ever. Well, thank you. That's very nice. The Walking Dead will help you to improve your English. Yeah, The Walking Dead, that's a good TV show. Yeah, good point. Walking Dead, that's fine. Here's the thing. What you want are modern. This is the key word for TV shows or movies. Modern. It means the characters, the world, it's now. It's recent. Right? You don't want a movie about ancient Rome, the Roman empires, like Gladiator. Now, actually, the truth is that's a bad example because Gladiator, the language used in Gladiator is actually modern English. They speak very modern. But a lot of times those historical shows, when the story is about something, 500 years ago, a lot of times, many times, they will use kind of a strange type of English, an older type of English, a more formal type of English that's not so useful. Not always, though. Like I said, Gladiator actually, if I remember, Gladiator actually has quite normal modern English in it. But just be careful about it. It's better to do something like Walking Dead that kind of is this time period now. House of Cards I've heard is good. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard House of Cards is a good one. I'm watching a TV show called Stranger Things. Just started it. Kind of an interesting show that's got modern English. That would be a good one. So there's so many now. So many shows and movies you can use. So just pick one you like. Okay, thank you. AJ, you are the best teacher. Well, thank you very much. I'll give you a thumbs up on that. Hello, AJ from Thailand. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well. All right, I'll take a couple more minutes, then we're going to finish up. Just going to take a look, see if I missed any good questions here. Oh, it says, thank you for your teaching and good wishes for your good health and happiness the rest of your life. Thank you very much. That's Pasang Lamo, I believe. And speaking of health, I'm going to do a future show about health and fitness. Really more about fitness. What's the difference? Health is your kind of freedom from disease, I would say. Your general good energy level and free from disease, free from problems. That's health. And it comes mostly from eating well. And then fitness, when we use this word fitness in English, we're talking more about like your physical ability. Like how strong are you? How far can you run? How long can you run? So we're talking about your muscles, your heart, about performance more. And anyway, I like both topics, health and fitness, both. For me, I'm usually a little stronger on the fitness side, right? Because I love exercising, so I tend to be usually pretty fit. And on the eating side, with health, it's more challenging for me. I'm doing well now. Sometimes I'm bad, though. Okay, let's go down to the bottom. Do you know Daniel Hauer in Vietnam? He's teaching English. I do not know Daniel Hauer. Sorry. All right, so one more. How do I enhance my speaking? It's not as good as my reading and listening. Well, as far as Ibrahim, first of all, that's normal. That's totally normal, right? Your listening should be better than your speaking. And your reading too. So that's normal. Don't worry about it. If you think of small children, usually they understand more than they can say. So it's a normal situation. Nothing to worry about. Continue to improve your listening and your reading. Now, when you're ready to really work on speaking a lot, you could try my pronunciation course. That's a good one. It trains your mouth to speak with a better pronunciation, better accent, and even to speak faster in English. So that can help all those things. But keep doing what you're doing. Continue focusing a lot on listening and on reading. The speaking will catch up. It's like this. So this is listening here. This is speaking down here. As listening goes up, the speaking goes up with it, usually. But it's always under, right? The speaking's always worse, or usually worse. So listening goes up, but speaking goes up too, but it never catches, and almost never goes over. So that's a normal thing. AJ's an evil teacher. Is that Ivy yet? Nope, but but it is someone from Vietnam. You're right, I am evil. Okay, I'm going to wrap up now. Last thing, guys. So again, the book that I was reading and discussing is called The End of School by Zachary Slayback. I recommend this book. Go out there and read it. It's a great book. It'll get you thinking a lot about our education system and how we can make it better, how the world has changed. Right? This is part of our effortless English revolution. To make education great again. Let's think, we need a different education system. That old factory system of teaching and learning, it's not good for the world we have now. Maybe it was okay for 40 years ago. I don't know. I didn't like it even when I went through it. Honestly, I hated it. I got good grades, but I could see it was kind of bullshit. But now especially, it doesn't train us to succeed, doesn't train us to be happy, doesn't train us to have financial success, doesn't train us to be free in our life and have financial freedom, doesn't teach us how to learn, constantly be learning our whole lives, to be creative, to be innovative. These skills we need now. This is what we need in the modern economy, and we don't get any of that from school. We get the opposite. So that's why homeschooling and independent learning for your whole life are so important. All right, we're giving free transcripts, free text for each and every new show on my blog. So check out the blog each day. We add the transcripts usually a few days later. It takes a little time to get them done. But you can get free text, so then you can listen and read at the same time, understand everything I'm saying. Check my blog every day at effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com. I love you all. Follow the Effortless English Code. See you next time. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.